Welcome, guys. Welcome. It's your boy Jay, and this is the Digital Revolution podcast. I hope everybody is doing well out there. I appreciate all the likes and comments that you guys are submitting to me, and I'm trying my best to put together, what I think is some pretty good information. Um, I'm gonna try to keep this one short, guys. We're being heavily censored on YouTube. Um, I noticed that in some of my videos, they had deleted out some of the stuff that Martin Armstrong was saying. Um, a lot of the topics that I deal with on this podcast are perhaps controversial. Sometimes you might even say theoretical. They're abstractions, but the stock market is an abstraction. Um, I'm not sure exactly where I want to go with this podcast today, but I did want to touch on very briefly. The last podcast I was touching on how our phones are spying on us and how, everything you do is being tracked. But it seems as though that the government is trying to put into place regulations and statutes and things of that nature to limit what you can see, what you can do. Of course, they're already spying on us, but they want to put it into the next phase where they can control what you're doing. Guys, we need to push back on that. Not only are they spying on us, again, the last podcast, and guys, I have to apologize about the last podcast. I was showing some charts for the stock market, and for whatever reason, they did not show up, guys. I really apologize about that because there was some really great information, but the audio was still there. So I hope you guys enjoy that as well with the stock market updates. But again, the last podcast we touched on the spying from the NSA, from the government, but it's not just the government; it's the telecommunications companies, the telecommunications companies are some of the biggest, most powerful companies on planet Earth. But it's not just government and it's not just private corporations that's spying on us. Sometimes it could be your neighbors. Sometimes it could be family members. It could be almost anybody. Guys, the technology is out there. And like I said, I deal with some really, really heavy subject matters on this podcast. And so, guys, bear with me. And I appreciate all your likes and your comments. And if you like any of the information that I have here, please like and subscribe. Guys, we're being attacked. We're under attack. Our nation is under attack. Our values, our moral beliefs are under attack. For us to speak out for freedom, for us to come on here and speak out, guys, we're being attacked. Whole communities are being attacked. You are not going to hear this in the mainstream news media. Guys, please understand that they are controlling a lot of us through the EMFs, the electric magnetic radiation poisoning, through electric magnetic radiation poisoning. And I am a big proponent of anti EMFs. In New York City, there's a bunch of EMFs. Now, whether it's the government or not, or whether it's just, outdated, antiquated energy systems, I don't think that we should go to 100% green energy, the ESG. Guys, the ESG is just a tax. Just like Social Security. By the time I get to retirement age, there will be no Social Security. It's just another tax. And that will bring me later on to what I wanted to talk about the quantitative easing and printing of money. But guys, whole communities are under attack. This is why you need to, try to form a community and form a bond with your neighbors so that you can see exactly what they're going through. We got whole communities here in the tri-state area that are just whole communities that are having severe migraines, severe migraine headaches. Guys, if you're going through something similar in your community, please let us know. Please share that information with us. But they are attacking us with the 5G and the electric magnetic radiation poisoning. Guys, you got to stay hydrated as well. Don't forget to drink a lot of water because the electric magnetic radiation poisoning is harder to transmit those signals to you through water. For some reason, whenever it rains, the EMFs they can't get to you, or it's less likely that they get to you. But guys, ever since they put up the 5G, I noticed that whole communities are having severe headaches, severe migraines. You'll notice that just people in your communities are having the same symptoms. And I just find that really, really weird. Guys, I didn't want to make this podcast too long, but again, it's your boy Jay. This is the Digital Revolution podcast. If you like this information that I'm kicking to you, please like and subscribe. And well, I'm not going to get to the stock market. I have to apologize again about the podcast that I put up the other day. It was a mess. You guys weren't able to see my screen. I wasn't able to share my screen with you guys. But maybe we can go do a quick review of the stock market. So guys, bear with me. Again, it's your boy Jay. This is Digital Revolution Podcast. Guys, we are under attack. We're under spiritual attack. We're under mental attack. They're attacking our families, our friends. They're attacking our loved ones. They're attacking our relationships. They are attacking everything. They're coming after us. And it's not just the government. Sometimes it's ourselves. But guys, bear with me while I pull up some of these charts. Hopefully you guys will be able to see the charts this time. And let me just see what I can pull up here. So guys, bear with me. Guys, I hope you can see this chart here. I'm hoping you can see this chart. Okay, so it looks like you're able to see this chart. Again, guys, I have to apologize that the last podcast that I threw up a chart and you guys weren't able to see it, but thankfully I was able to get the message out there. And here we are. Let's pull down to a daily chart on the gold here. Gold is still showing support. It's being supported above this $1,951 price range. We are going to see some retracements. It could very well retrace itself to this $1,900 range right here, where a lot of the stop losses are. But right now, I'm expecting to see retracements. When we go into the lower time frames, guys, is exactly what I was saying yesterday, that we were going to see the price of gold retracing. I think right now, gold is perhaps the biggest indicators in this markets. Let me just double check, make sure I'm sharing the screen so you guys can see it. I think gold is the biggest indicators. I no longer follow the VIX. I believe that these markets are heavily, heavily manipulated, including the gold prices that you see on here. These are heavily manipulated, but they can only control them but so much. There is the actual the matrix version of the price, the derivative version of the price, the intangible version of the price that you see in the stock market. But then we're seeing in the actual market that silver and gold is being bought hand over fist. When we go here in the lower time frames, yeah, guys, we're starting to see that the price is consolidating big time. Gold is in consolidation big time. So we're expecting to see that this price is going to go, at least in the lower time frames, into bearish territory. We're seeing a retracement in the price of gold. Let me see S&P 500 here. Yeah, so we're starting to see a retracement here. The S&P 500 is consolidating in the lower time frames, guys. So sorry, guys. Let me just get this here. We're starting to see the prices consolidate in the lower time frames, and possibly that the uptrend is over and that we're going to see it retrace itself. We're having some support here in the higher time frames and on the daily. Yeah, so guys, these are unstable uptrends, or these are becoming unstable uptrends, and it looks like the market is going sideways for the time being. Right now, for me, the S&P 500 and gold are the biggest indicators of the stock market. But again, enough of that. I wanted to try to make this podcast a little bit short here, but let me see if I can share my screen a little bit more. Again, it's your boy Jay. This is Digital Revolution Podcast. It is April 6, 2023. We are being punished. We are being harassed for putting this information out there about what's really going on this planet Earth, what's really going on. Again, there's only a core group of people that are imposing their beliefs and their views onto the rest of humanity. But it's not just that core group of people. As a result of them imposing their belief system and imposing the matrix on us, it's up to us to make decisions and educate ourselves to get outside of that matrix. And so we just can't blame them. We also have to look inside of ourselves for the programming that is inside of ourselves. Guys, if you're on planet Earth, we are all being heavily manipulated and brainwashed. hopefully very soon though, that old system is dying off and we're going into a new system. So one of the solutions is that perhaps in the future, after the tribulation period, we're going to see a boom in agriculture. We're going to see a major revolution in food production and renewable food. And I think that it was on usawatchdog.com where Bill Halter, he made a revelation, and I've heard it from several friends that something's going on with the meat. Something is going on with the meat where they're giving the animals the jab and people are eating this. And so people are getting sick from the food, guys, and you're not hearing about it in the mainstream news media. People are getting sick. They're having all kind of GERD. Again, that's why you have to pay attention to what your neighbors and what your friends are saying in your area. A lot of the people are having the same exact symptoms. They're having GERD. They're having internal problems. They're having bloat. They're having problems digesting their food, or they're having the jab problems. Again, guys, I don't know what I can and cannot say on this podcast, but let me just wrap it up and try to explain to you why I came on here today. Hopefully you guys can see this. Again, this is your boy Jay. This is the Digital Revolution podcast. I was going to try to make this one a little bit shorter today. Again, it is April 6, 2023. And I don't know if you guys can see my notes for the day here. Yeah, so guys, the government is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Okay. Um, guys, I don't even know how I'm gonna be able to I don't even know how I'm going to be able to try to explain this one again. Trying to explain these exopolitical, these deep political subjects that form our reality, the reality that we're living on this planet Earth. The reason why I have the Earth here is so that we can mentally get a vantage point of view, and it's almost like we're on our own private spaceship. You know, we're above the fray, we're above it all, as if we were the aliens looking at these human beings and being like, "Wow, what are you guys doing? You guys." I don't think I want to go to that planet. Let's go to another planet where they're like doing things better, where they're counterproductive. They're not busy trying to kill themselves or this group of people against that group of people. But guys, the government is stuck between a rock and a hard place. I have been studying about the federal government, well, the government for at least 6, 7 years, and it has led me down a really crazy rabbit hole. But yeah, the government is stuck between a rock and a hard place. If they are no longer the government, I'm meaning able to print money, that is deflationary, guys. It's deflationary. Government has billions in liabilities, and the government has billions, possibly trillions in deficit. Guys, the government has billions in liabilities, such as the welfare state, SSI, and unemployment. Right now, what we're seeing is that the unemployment, and guys, you know that when the government gives out the numbers for unemployment, it's no way, those numbers are not real. You know, the unemployment is probably like 20%, 25%, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Guys, every time that the number of the unemployment goes up a percentage, that means that people are going to die and they're going to starve. Not only are they going to die and starve from the lack of work or just a stagnant economy, but all those people now are getting co-opted into the government. Now they have no choice but to follow the mandates of the government. And guys, pretty soon, let me stop sharing my screen. Pretty soon, you won't be able to take your money out of the bank. There's only 10% of cash is actually in circulation. The other 90% is all digits. But there's a mass liquidation on the banks. There's people that's taking their money out of the system. But pretty soon you won't be able to take your money out of the system, and that is going to have far-reaching repercussions. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, the government is stuck between a rock and a hard place. If they are no longer able to print money, that is deflationary. Guys, it's deflationary because we now have millions and millions of people that are dependent on the system. If they cannot get their free money, if they cannot get the money that the government is printing through QE, so that they can fund their liabilities and their deficits, then that is deflationary. People are going to die. And they talk about going on a gold standard. And guys, this may be out of my pay range, because I don't know exactly how that would look if we go on a gold standard, if we actually want to go on a gold standard, or if there is something that actually that they don't talk about, but that you don't really hear about this in the mainstream media or the alternative media, is that as a result of printing money, people are able to live. Think about it. How are people going to get their Medicaid? How are people ever going to get their reduced what is it? You know, when some people are on Medicaid, they're able to get their medication at a reduced rate. How are they able to get their medicine if you have to come out of your pocket in a deflationary, not even a necessarily deflationary atmosphere, but where there's high unemployment and high inflation? If you have to come out of your pocket and not pay on a sliding scale for your Medicaid, if you had to pay full price for that, I mean, guys, that's going to bankrupt a lot of people. A lot of people will end up dying. However, as we learned through the work of Bill Halter and Egon von Grers, who I ultimately is always quoting on this podcast, that once the governments and the sovereign nations and individuals and corporations start to default on their debt, the banks, government, well, particularly the banks in this instance, will no longer be able to extend credit. And that is going to be deflationary. If they cannot extend credit, that means that society starts breaking down. They will not be able to pay out their liabilities of the welfare state of, so again, people are so, like, let's say for instance, you go to work and maybe you had a great job, maybe you had a good job, but in this economy, in this kind of atmosphere, the job is somewhat obsolete. And so as people constrict, as the velocity of money is constricted, and less people have money to spend, then that means that they're not going to spend on your job. So therefore, jobs start cutting hours. And if they start cutting hours, then you stop spending. And ultimately, it's a vicious cycle, and that co-ops people. Hold on. And that co-ops people into the government. It puts them back into the system that is fucking with them in the first place. Excuse me for lack of a better word, but you guys don't have a potty mouth. Government has billions in liabilities, such as the welfare state, SSI, and unemployment, etc. If we go on a gold standard, or government can't print anymore, how do all these people continue to stay alive, guys? That's what I want to know. Guys, this is Digital Revolution Podcast. I hope you guys can see this. I have to apologize about the last podcast that you couldn't see my screen. I'm going to try to make this one short. Now, guys, this is a really crazy conspiracy theory that I have, and it's something that I have been thinking about and contemplating. And I will get more into about the alien abductions and what's really going on with the aliens. But let me just see if I can explain this exopolitical theory. So the expansion of credit, or the fancy word QE, is like sugar to cancer. You know that sugar, it makes cancer metastasize faster. It grows and grows and grows the cancer. But when government prints money, it is as if people are allowed to live. Children are allowed to be born, particularly children that are on the welfare state, particularly in states that are highly socialized, where they are living on a government pension, or not a government pension, but they're living off the government through welfare benefits. Guys, the welfare state is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. All these people are being co-opted one way or the other into the government, into welfare. If you're on welfare, or if you got an EBT, or if you are on any kind of government, you already have the CBDC, guys. You already have it. Guys, you don't hear it anywhere here. You don't hear that anywhere but on this channel. I'm telling you what it is. And guys, I don't know what I can and cannot say, but again, the theory goes that the expansion of credit, or QE, is like sugar to cancer. It grows and grows and grows. Was the population allowed to grow for reasons of experimentation? So the government prints all this money, but if they didn't print it, people would make different decisions. A woman wouldn't have children. People wouldn't be able to live. They wouldn't be able to eat. All these people in these socialized states are living off of the government. Are they living off the QE? If the government expands, if the government constricts that, and they stop that, and they go to a quote unquote gold standard, then how are they going to pay out all these liabilities? Again, I talk about on this channel how the jab and the pervasive sickness is deflationary in nature. The banks and these mega conglomerate corporations were able to buy up everything because the price of everything got really cheap during the pervasive sickness. So they were able to, the banks and the government and the multi-billionaires were able to buy up everything cheap. However, about 7 million people died due to this pervasive sickness, and people are dying from the jab. That is highly deflationary. That means that the government does not have to pay out the Social Security benefits for those people. They don't have to pay out those unfunded liabilities of all these people that are going into the government, that the government now has to service that debt, because regular people that have, even people that have good jobs, they can't make a living off of their paycheck. They need some kind of a aid. They need some kind of a welfare benefit now just to eat. Now you can imagine if they stop that, what the fuck is gonna happen, guys? I don't hear anybody talking about this subject matter this deep, guys. Again, it's your boy Jay. This is Digital Revolution Podcast. The revolution will not be televised, but it's happening whether we like it or not, guys. And a lot of us are gonna end up having to strategically relocate because in the future there's going to be issues with food. In the future there's going to be issues with people just getting sick. It could be a possibility, and guys, I'm speculating here to somewhat, but look, the writing's on the wall. It could be that COVID comes back, or I should say, again, I don't know what I can and cannot say, so let's just say the pervasive sickness comes back. Guys, they can turn it off and on whenever they like. Remember, we talked about that. They have been beta testing for these viruses in Africa. Guys, you got to stay hydrated. Was the population allowed to grow over that 40-year period of massive quantitative easing? Was the population able to expand? Now, how that tie, okay, again, I'm following the notes here. How does that tie into alien abductions and the aliens, as a result of that expansion of that genetic pool, the aliens taking that pool of genetic information to seed other star systems? Guys, this theory is something that's way out there. I'm not necessarily saying that I even understand this, but think about it. If everybody, or if you have so many millions and millions of people that's relying on the government, if the government didn't give them those benefits, they would just die off. And essentially that is what's going to happen, because the government will no longer be able to pay its bills. Okay, guys, I hope you guys are following me on here. This is a very deep conversation and a deep topic. But as a result of them expanding that credit or doing the QE, you have people that were able to be born onto planet Earth. Now, if they didn't do that, if the government wasn't able to pay off their Medicaid or wasn't able to pay their welfare benefits, so that when they go to the grocery store, they were able to eat and survive and live off of the government, like government cheese, government welfare, they wouldn't be able to live. I think women would not have children. Already we're starting to see that women don't want to have children because it costs about $1 million now to have kids. So that's deflationary in itself. And you throw that into the mix, transgenderisms, and no way am I criticizing transgender people, because we love all people here. We love our trans men, we love our trans women, but you throw that into the mix, that is deflationary in nature, because there's less likely for more people to be born. However, what I'm trying to say is that there is a correlation between the government printing money and people being able to the people being able to grow. Guys, they already think that we're like a fungus on planet Earth. And, I'm not here to say that we are or not, but guys, every other species, let me stop sharing. And guys, I hope you follow me on this. Every other species on planet Earth, they do not fuck up planet Earth like human beings fuck up planet Earth. Guys, we have fucked up planet Earth. We have fucked it up to the point where it's almost becoming uninhabitable. Guys, the dolphins don't fuck it up. The orangutans don't fuck it up. The ants are not fucking it up. They live in the cycle of life. They live in a cycle of life that they do not deplete the atmosphere. They do not make it so that it becomes uninhabitable. Human beings have so much waste. We produce so much gunk on the earth that the earth is alive, and the earth it's like we're a cancer on earth. However, due to the expansion of credit and due to the expansion of money printing, a lot of people have been able to exist. And guys, I hope you follow me on this. I hope you follow my logic on this. Please like and subscribe to the Digital Revolution Podcast. It's your boy Jay. I hope I'm getting this broadcast across. And I'm not an economist. I'm not a news media personality, TV personality, thing like that. Guys, I'm not trying to be. I'm just a concerned citizen that has done research. And I think that I have something to say. And guys, the government ability to print money has allowed the population to expand. If they didn't, the population wouldn't expand because people would be dying off left and right. It's sort of like survival of the fittest. It's sort of like Darwin, you know. But how that ties into all this genetic information was expanded for as a result of QE. So that gave the aliens the ability to go in there and take that genetic information and then possibly see other star systems. Okay, so how that ties into alien abductions and the taking of that genetic information to see other star systems. What you never hear about is that people are they completely depend on the system for their entire life, right? So there are people that are completely dependent on the welfare benefits. There are people that are completely dependent on their Medicaid. For example, SSI persons on welfare benefits. You take that away, and millions of people will suffer or die, guys. Guys, you don't hear about them talking about this. Okay, so was it that they were allowed for people to exist by printing money, Medicaid benefits? Some people would die if they didn't get their meds or their treatments. Okay, yeah, so, and that takes us into contact with the aliens and why. And guys, I'm gonna make this a short podcast, but guys, there are people getting abducted, and there's been some scientific research on this, and some of the research is showing that there's people that are having the same experiences, but they are completely uncorrelated, meaning that there's people in Australia, people in Connecticut, people in California, people all over the world having the same exact experiences, where they would draw out their experience, and then other people would also draw out their experiences of their abduction phenomena, and they would all be the same exact experiences, but they don't live in the same state. They're totally uncorrelated. Guys, there's something going on where either the aliens and the government are together. Guys, the government and the aliens, they have bases underground. Sometimes when they abduct people, they take them underground. The government, so there's $21 trillion missing from the government, right? $21 trillion that's missing from the federal government that the government can't account for. As a result of FASB 56, United States citizens are no longer able to knock on the government's door and be like, hey, we need a deep internal forensic auditing of the government's bookkeeping, meaning that we guys need to see exactly how the money is moving in the government. And guys, that's one of the solutions to the problem moving forward, that once we get this government back in order, we need to know how the government is spending our money. Guys, they're not spending the money on schools. They're not spending the money on infrastructure. Yeah, maybe China is, they're in debt too, but at least they spend their debt on infrastructure. Guys, what these core group of people are doing by usurpation of the government, by usurping of our government, is they're building underground bases, and that's where they're taking people when they abduct them. Now, are they taking their body or are they taking their astral body? That that I have to do more research on, but it's perhaps a combination of both. But what I do know is that they have in these underground bases, and let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it real quick, guys. Bear with me. Let me see if I can find it. Again, it's your boy. This is a Revolution podcast. Let me see if I can find a picture of it, because a picture says 1,000 words. Bear with me for the. Okay, so guys, I can't find it. So sorry, guys. Guys, if you could just bear with me. Okay, guys, see if you can see this real quick. It's as close as I can get to it. Um, this is as close as I can get to like what I'm trying to tell you guys. But guys, they have these underground bases. So there's 21, and I hope you guys can see the screen now because that shit pissed me off that you guys weren't able to see that. And so there's $21 trillion missing from the federal government. And guys, you see this in a lot of movies too, that they have these underground bases. Guys, when they abduct people, they're taking their sperm, right? They're taking men's sperm, they're taking women's ovaries. They're doing something with the sperm or ovaries. They're doing something where they're genetically creating these other type human beings underground. Now, I don't have full confirmation on that, and this is something that I'm doing more research on. But guys, I don't know what I can and cannot say on this podcast, but full disclosure here, I consider myself, guys, a contactee. I have personally been, I feel as though I have personally been contacted by these aliens. Call me crazy, right? Maybe I am crazy, maybe I'm not, but I don't think I'm crazy because other people, once I found out that other people were having the same experiences, then I was like, wow, this is something that's just completely out there, but something that's completely hard to understand. Guys, when they abduct you, or when they abducted me, they took me to an underground base, and this is exactly what I saw. This is exactly what I saw. But other people have had very similar experiences where they saw the babies being born in these fields of test tubes. Guys, call me fucking crazy, guys. Let me share the screen again. Where they go and they see these babies being born in test tubes. This is exactly what I saw when I was abducted. Um, I don't want to speculate too much because you probably think I'm crazy already. But again, I have been a contactee, and there have been other people that have been contacted by these aliens. A lot of people have been abducted, and they just don't realize it. They don't realize it because generally, when you get abducted, you're asleep, or you're in between sleeping and that other interdimensional world. These are interdimensional beings that can manifest in our world. Okay, so whether they had taken me my body, or they have taken my astral body, that I cannot explain to you. I cannot explain to you everything, other than that I know that I'm not the only one. There's been plenty of other people that have had abduction phenomena, and it's really hard to talk about it without sounding too crazy. But I think that the topic of UFOs and aliens now is becoming more mainstream, and people are not laughing at it and looking at it as a hard science, and they're looking at it because other people have had similar experiences. And guys, before I wrap this up, let me just show you something here. Guys, it's your boy Jay. This is Digital Revolution Podcast. I'm trying to explain some very, very complicated things and even disclose to you some of my own experiences. And if you have had similar situations that happen to you, please let us know. Guys, this is what this community is here for. Guys, give me 1 second to show you um, what a lot of people see when they get abducted. Okay, so yeah, guys, when people get abducted, they look like these guys here. Can you see here? This is exactly what they look like. Um, Now, I believe that some people have an alien. This is so fucking crazy and wacky and out there. Guys, I hope you're following me on this. Please, guys, don't just, if somebody comes to you and tells you something like this, don't just write them off as crazy. There might be something to it. And guys, I know I'm not the only one that has been experiencing this. And I'm putting myself on the line by coming out there and talking about this. And I don't know what I can and cannot say, but this is such a really good view of what the aliens look like. They have the big eyes. Some people even say that we are somehow related to them, or that they have been genetically engineering us. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, this is what they look like. They even have the little ones here. Yeah, they definitely look like this. Um, Now, I always wonder exactly how do we know that they look like this? But this is certainly what they look like. Um, Now, there's a bunch of speculation on why the aliens look like this. Some people speculate and say that this is what we're going to look like in the future, that in the future, this is what humanity is going to evolve to, that whatever is going to happen to planet Earth, that eventually this is what we're going to evolve into, and that these beings possibly are from the future. But whatever it is, guys, these beings are interdimensional. And I hope you guys don't think that I'm crazy. This one is I think fake. There's a lot of fakery out there. There's a lot of fake ones out there, but this is what they look like. Anyway, so I think that we are going to be seeing a lot of disclosure coming up very soon. Guys, the Pentagon already released information about the UFOs. They got the motherships out there, and some of the motherships could very well have the United States military on them. And the United States military could very well be dealing with these beings. But whatever it is, I definitely believe that they have underground bases and that they have the motherships, and that there's some of us on those motherships with those type of aliens that I showed you. I think that possibly in a year or two, that we're going to see more and more disclosure about the aliens. Guys, it's your boy Jay. This is Digital Revolution Podcast. I hope that this podcast wasn't too wacky and too out there. Again, just don't write somebody off as saying that they're crazy, when not only am I having these experiences, but other people are having abductee, contactee experiences. Please like and subscribe if you've been having similar experiences, or if you've been having issues in your neighborhood, or if you guys been noticing that groups of people have been having similar experiences, right? Similar situations that's happening to them. Please make a comment. I hope this message finds you well. Let's just stay healthy. Remember to drink water, and I'll see you in the next podcast. All right.